ForgeBox module of the week. So this one here, I'm actually going to talk about myself because I did this module. So this is a module that came out of interceptors. So I have a client and I started adding this cool little pre-mail interceptor all over their sites. They have different apps, and so I keep making this interceptor everywhere. And I got to the point where I'm like, I am redoing this. I am not reusing my code wisely, right? So I built this little module called the CBMailServices pre-mail filter. So what it does, it's a tool that fires on the pre-mail interception point, allowing you to filter emails being sent out from your application using CBMailServices. So the cool thing, I think anyway, is that it supports multiple environments. So you can turn on the filters for just one environment or multiple environments, and you can choose how to override those global settings with just one setting for just one environment. And you can change different things. So basically, I got sick of changing the code everywhere and having to recommit code to do different things, turn things on or off. So now it's all done by environment variables. Nice. So here you can basically, change your environment variable in Docker or whatever. And this customer is using Docker Swarm. So if I make a change to an environment variable in their Swarm, it redeploys it. No code changes, but now it behaves differently. So some of the things it does. Again, we have a list of environments. So you can choose the environment. So maybe you want to have like development and staging, do this. And so it's all set up. So, it's basically for non-production use. You could use it for production, but it would be kind of one of those weird things like maybe do you really want to? But you could. But usually it's for development or staging where you want to control the emails going out. So usually we just put them all in a folder, but sometimes in staging or QA, you actually want to get the emails. You got to click on the links and follow the workflow, and not everyone has access to the log folder, that we love so much in CBMail. So in that case, what you may want to say is, only allow these email addresses to actually get email. So the filter comes in, the email comes in, and if the email address is one of the ones on the list, like you, then the email will send out. Otherwise, it doesn't send because it'll just strip the emails out of it. You also can control the emails that must be sent to. So maybe what you do is you say, no matter what, every email that goes through the system, I want it to always send it to me. So that way I get every email that happens on staging so I could verify, check it, etc. So that's another way that you could do it. And then so that's the emails that must be sent to. And then you have another one, which is if there are no recipients, who should the email be sent to by default? So in other words, if there's maybe you've got 5 people on your team that the emails are allowed to go to, but if it's an email that's going to none of those people, and so you've removed all the email addresses, you can say if there's no one's going to get the email, then send it to, me, or send it to this email address or something. And you can also prefix emails. So if you want to, you can turn on the prefix, and that'll basically put something in front of the email. So when it sends from development, it'll say, hey, this is development, or it'll send something else. So you can enable the app name, so you can tell it, what's the name of the app and then the environment, so it shows in front of the email. And that's usually the default. It'll try and do the app name and then the environment. Or if you want to be really specific, you can say this subject prefix is going to override the default. And for all of these, you actually have the option of setting it globally. So this enable subject enable prefix. This will be for all environments that this is enabled for. This one here allows you to basically specifically, it's meant to be an underscore, I need to update the docs. Underscore, then the environment name, it'll basically say, when it's loading, it'll say, okay, I'm in development, I'm trying to send an email. Should the prefix be set up? And it'll say, look at the development version of the environment variable first. If that doesn't exist, then it checks the global variable. And if that doesn't exist, it defaults to true. So it's, it's tiered. So try to make it user-friendly. It's great for local development and then your tests, because maybe local you want it to send to you, but when you run your test, you don't want emails to go out, so you can change it for that. So anyway, it's a little interceptor. Works great. And module of the week. So
nice.
So I'm pretty excited. It's working already pretty nice. And I've already got a million ideas. But I've actually made some pull requests to CBMail to make it even more controllable. So I'm going to make it so if it's actually going to be sending an email, you can say, oh, if it meets this requirement, put it in the log files. If it actually has a recipient, then use this provider to send the email to somebody. So I want to actually try and control how the mail is sent after the filter is done. Because right now you couldn't do that. But CBMailServices little pull requests, and now I can control that too. So I'll probably add some regex stuff in there and a few other things. But anyway, so it gives you a little bit more control of your emails getting sent out from your app, whether it's development, testing, staging, QA, production, whatever.